Hello everyone, today we are going to be taking a quick look, or actually we're going to be comparing and contrasting between the two editions of Blazblue Crosstag Battle. We got the Japan one, which is the Blazblue Crosstag Battle Limited Box, and then the Collector's Edition for the for the US version. So let's take a look. Alright, first up, we're going to be taking a look at the Japan version. So, box is pretty solid. Nice art. Logo in the box. And, alright, so first up, the game. So I believe this one contains the game itself. I'm not sure how extensive the DLC is. I mean, you can check it out. Whoever claims it, it's yours. Like, I don't have a Japan account, so I don't really care. But I don't know how extensive the DLC is for this one. If it's just season 1 or like every future DLC is included. So I actually don't know the exact value. And of course the game. Then you get the acrylic. I believe it's just acrylic figurines or stand-up. Yeah, it's just small acrylic figurines. You can stand them up there. It's pretty much mini acrylic figurines. And then of course the soft cover art book. So it's a pretty basic pretty basic art book. Contains character art, some promotional material. There you go. Yeah, honestly, this one is a bit disappointing because it actually, with the amount of items it has, it's pretty low quality fan box. So honestly, I was expecting more out of it. But yeah, it's again, it's a little disappointing compared to its Western counterpart. So now, let me put this back and set it aside. Now let's take what the West Collector's Edition actually has. The West one actually has a steel box. I hate it when they do this. You have a steel box and you actually have your regular container. So it's either one or another, but yeah, it has the mini soundtrack, which usually comes with the day one edition of the game. There you go. It doesn't have the DLC code, so I can't remember if it actually has, like Amazon sends you an email or something like that for the DLC or season 1 DLC. This one actually has a complete soundtrack. Interestingly enough, has 15 tracks. That's pretty good. So pretty much a standard soundtrack. And it actually has a bigger size acrylic figure. Has one of each representation, and it's bigger in size compared to its Japan counterpart. So you got Ruby, Ragna, Hyde, and Yu. And then finally, it's the same softcover art book. So yeah, it's pretty much the same soft cover that's there. Send them back. Alright, so now let's go to the quick and dirty of this. What is the main oops, I actually should put this back properly. So one of the main let's compare and contrast between the two. Personally, I actually prefer the Western one on this because I'm kind of biased. Whenever there's a soundtrack, I tend to go to the collector's edition that actually features a soundtrack, especially if the soundtrack is good. And knowing this has Persona, Blazblue has, it's pretty good, and Ruby is, I like Ruby's soundtrack. It's debatable, but yeah, comparing between the two is a little hard. Value-wise, I would say the Japan one has a great value for Japan players because the DLC it's included on it is essentially, I don't know how extensive, I don't know how extensive it is, but it has the DLC characters, which the US one, correct me if I'm wrong, but the US one doesn't have any. You have to purchase it separately. Value-wise, I'd say I'd go for the West if I'm in Japan. But just items in on itself that, you know, if like me as a Western user buys it, I prefer this one because it has a soundtrack on it that I can listen to and, you know, rip and put it on my phone. So I'd say this one goes to the Western version. Again, it's mainly for value. The acrylic figurines, they both have those. Again, it's not like my thing, but this one has a bigger one, bigger acrylic figures. This one is pretty much miniatures, so I don't know. It feels like cheaply made, but yeah. Again, value-wise, if you were into these franchises, you get much more value as a Japanese player because you get all the DLC. This one, it's more in universal value just because it has a soundtrack on it. So yeah, I mean, I'd prefer, in this case, I prefer the Western one. Alright, I believe that is everything that's covered on both of these items. Nothing special on them. Again, I wish the Japanese version has a more universal value. Just because, again, people do tend to import these, but again, this probably holds more value to the Japanese audience just because it has all the DLC. Alright, and that wraps it up for an East versus West Blazblue Crosstag Battle Edition. See you guys.